Alright, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install a Linux virtual machine in Proxmox. Alright, so the first step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install your distribution of choice. I'm going to go with Ubuntu for this video because it's I think the easiest to get working for beginners. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on that link in the description. This will bring you right to this page, and you're going to want to download the latest stable version. So that's the LTS. You're going to want to download your Intel or AMD 64-bit architecture for any modern computer hosting. I'm going to assume you're all going to be using this. You're going to click download. Right now, this is a little bit confusing bit. It's going to want to install something up here. I'm using Edge, so it's going to be up here, but you're going to want to cancel that installation. And instead, you're going to want to see this download now hyperlink. You're going to want to right click on that and click copy link. So now you have the link copied to your computer. You're going to want to move back over to where you have your Proxmox server environment running. And then you're going to have left toolbar of your server. I'm going to assume you have it running, but there's going to be some hard drives at the bottom or storage, however you have set that up during your initial installation. And click on whatever one you want to install the installation media to. And then in this little drop down thing, you're going to want to click ISO images and click download from URL. Now you're going to want to paste in the URL that we just copied and click query URL. Now it's going to autofill all of the relevant information, and you're just going to want to click download. So now is the downloading process. So basically we have installed the installation media for your virtual machine, and now we can move on to the next step. This part does take a minute, so give it some time. Alright, cool. It finished installing. We're going to exit out of this. And now we're going to get to the fun part of actually installing our virtual machine. So you're going to want to go to the top right and click on where it says Create VM, this little blue button. Now we're going to go into the actual setup. You're going to want to name it whatever you want. I don't really care. There's some options here. I'll go ahead and explain them because I think it's kind of interesting. So HA is for if you have multiple clusters, and if one of your server nodes goes down, you can reboot the virtual machine instantly. But obviously, if you're watching this video, you only have one server, so that's not really important. This will be automatically selected to your server. Your VM ID, you can call it whatever. I don't have 100 as a listed one, so I'll do 100. You can use resource pools if you want to isolate certain virtual machines from your total system resources, but this isn't really super important. Your operating system, you're going to choose your installation media. So we just installed this one, so you're going to select that, and it should default to wherever you had it installed, but if it didn't, click on wherever you had it installed. This will already be all automatically filled out, so not important. Your system, I'll go ahead and explain this stuff because I really do think it is interesting. Graphics card isn't really important to choose here because you can pass it through later. Your machine, it basically defaults to i440FX, and this is basically you're emulating an old motherboard. It's very stable and compatible with almost everything. You can change it to Q35. It basically handles PCIe pass-through better, but I wouldn't change this. It's not really important. Or it is important, but I wouldn't change it. You can change your BIOS. Basically, the C BIOS is the default. You can change it to UEFI if you want some more modern support. I think it is required for Windows 11, but I'm not completely certain on that. Your SCSI controller is your standard. I wouldn't change this unless you're running some very old stuff or you want to do something custom that I'm not familiar with. Your qemu-agent is the most important thing to enable. It basically improves the communication between the Proxmox hypervisor and the actual VM. So it just makes it everything faster. TPM is basically improves encryption and security for the virtual machine. I believe Windows 11 requires this. Um, and then now we're gonna get to the actual disk. I would leave this as SCSI. The other options are for like older installations. You're gonna want to click storage for whatever storage device you want to install it on. In this case, I'm going to be installing it on a hard drive, and then you're going to want to give it a certain amount of size. I'm going to leave it as 32 gigabytes for now. I think that's fine. Cache, you can change this. You can change this if you want to, but I would leave it as default. Basically, if you give it cache, it allows the system to use your RAM to write stuff, and then it improves speed. But if you don't give it a cache, it is forced to use your disk to write all of your stuff. And this is safer because if you ever lose power or the VM ever shuts off, none of your data will be lost, nothing will be corrupted, no issues. Discard is something I do like to enable. It basically, so if you delete something on your virtual machine, it will decrease your the size for the virtual machine. So let's say I have 32 gigabytes right now, and I install a 10 gigabyte package on it, and I delete it. Now it is allocated 22 gigabytes, so it just decreases the amount of storage on your hard drive. So I would enable this, but you don't have to. I/O is very important. It's basically how your storage device is managed. If you enable I/O thread by default, it basically gives storage a dedicated CPU thread, making it like so much faster. Here's your CPU and how you can change it. By default, I'm gonna assume you all have one socket unless you're running a dual Xeon system from like ancient. Uh, you should look up how many cores your CPU has. In my case, I believe mine has 16. So you can give it I wouldn't give it 16 cores, all your cores, but for this case I'm going to give it 8. I think that's a pretty good amount. Your type is going to be default. Don't change that. And now we're going to go to memory. This is in MIB bytes. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but it's basically 1 megabyte is 1024 MIB bytes. So just give it however much you want. I'm gonna go with I think 4000 MIB bytes is a good amount. So that would be, let me pull out a calculator one moment. That would be 4096. Cool. And then just multiples of 10,024 is what you're looking for. And then your network, I wouldn't change anything here. Just leave it all blank. You can, this is, yeah, I wouldn't change anything here. And then you're basically just going to want to confirm and finish your setup. All right, cool. Now we have a virtual machine. You can see it right here in your left toolbar. You're going to want to click Start. And then in this little gray drop down, you're going to want to click Console. And it's going to start your installation process. You're going to want to click Enter to try or install Ubuntu. And it's going to enter the installation process. Give it some time. Okay, my system has officially booted in. I'm gonna walk you through the installation process. You're gonna want to select whatever your language of choice, obviously English for me. I wouldn't change any of this stuff, but if you have any accessibility needs, you can go in here and select them. Keyboard type, just leave it to whatever the default is. For me, it's English. I have a wired connection, so Ethernet, so it's going to default to wired connection. But if you have Wi-Fi, you can go here and configure that. I would install it unless you want to try the distribution, but obviously you're on a VM, so you're already in the installation media and you can't just plug out and do something else. So we're going to install Ubuntu. I'm going to go through the interactive installation so you can configure what you want. You can use the extended selection. It'll give you some extra stuff like Libre, Suite, and I think Thunder Mail stuff. I'm gonna use default. Just download whatever you want. I would recommend installing everything. You're gonna want whatever your drivers and your players and like everything so you can compatible with whatever you want to install. So we're gonna click next and wait for that to install. You're gonna run erase your disk. Don't worry, this won't do anything because you're on an isolated virtual machine storage, so you're not gonna erase anything. I wouldn't do encryption unless you want to. All right, we're gonna name it. Let's name it test. We're gonna give it a password. We're gonna give it 1234, and then 1234. You can require your password if you want. I'm not going to, because it's a virtual machine. I am located in the Eastern time zone, so that's the time zone I will be selected. It should default to yours, but I'm not certain. And then we're gonna finalize the installation. And let's give it some time. Okay, our installation is complete. We're going to click the Restart Now button and restart the virtual machine to confirm our installation. Okay, when you get this message, you're going to want to just click Enter, and it will reboot. All right, cool. We have our Linux virtual machine installed, but there are some steps left over before we can finish. You're going to want to click on the Show Apps in the bottom left corner, and you're going to want to open the terminal. This is basically so that we can install the qemu-guest-agent that we enabled earlier, because if you don't install it, it's not enabled. So you're going to first start by updating the system. This is just to make sure it's completely up to date. It should be, but enter your password. Almost forgot it. Okay, cool. And now we're going to want to do sudo apt upgrade \y to update all of the packages. Alright, now that our system's updated and upgraded, let's install the guest agent. So you're going to want to input these commands. I'm going to have them into the description, but it's sudo apt install qemu-guest-agent. Now it's going to install it. You're going to want to click Y for yes. Okay, it is installed. Now we're going to want to enable it and start it. So it's sudo systemctl enable qemu-guest-agent. Okay, it is enabled, and now let's start it. Sudo systemctl start qemu-guest-agent. Okay, now it is enabled and started, so let's just double check. You can go over to this left-hand side and click on Summary, and it should say, okay, you see the IP address, and this means that the QEMU is enabled. Cool. Now you are free to do whatever you want with your virtual machine. Actually, let's clear this first. Location services, turn that off. I wouldn't share any data or anything. I like dark, and I wouldn't install anything. Cool. Now it is set up. However, there's one thing I would recommend. you can stop here if you just want the VM, or I'm going to go through some additional stuff right now. Okay, if you want to back up your virtual machine, I think this is important to do a initial backup. Looks like we already have one, but I'm gonna just do another backup just to make sure. We're gonna save it to wherever you want to save it. For me, that is hard drive number 1. Don't change the compression. I like that, the default. Let's give it a note. Just started virtual machine, and now we're gonna back it up, and it's going to write all of the files to the drive so that you can restore back to default whenever you want. Let's just give it a moment. Okay, it is backed up. Now I'm going to go through some other stuff. We can close this, and now let's say you ever want to change any of your hardware stuff. Let's say you want to give it more memory. You can always edit this and give it more. If you want to give it more processes or cores, you can go in and change that. I wouldn't really change any of these other stuff. The defaults are pretty good. And then if you ever want to look at how your machine is going, click on summary, and it'll give you a pretty decent summary. So if you see that your memory usage is spiking when you're just running a regular virtual machine with no processes, I would probably increase your memory usage. In this case, I think 4 gigabytes is probably not quite enough. So I would go ahead and increase that. Yeah. And now let's say you want to shut off your virtual machine because you are done. You can just shut it off through the console terminal. We're going to just click on the top right and click shut down. And it should just power off. Okay, it is powered off. And now let's say you want to start it back up. You're just going to want to click start now. And it'll start right back up. For the first thing, this should be the only time it shows up, but just click enter. Okay, cool, that works. Now if you want to shut it down completely, go up here to shut down and shut it down. It won't be waiting for you to start it back up, it'll be off completely. Cool. We're done. Congratulations, you installed your first virtual machine on Proxmox. Check out my channel for more tutorials. I should be building some cool stuff on this virtual machine, so if you're interested, go ahead and keep posted. Thank you. Goodbye.